Scout here tonight, Ralph? You have one of the lapel pins at all? Or maybe, I bet Allison has. Hey Pam, could you get us one of those lapel pins for the Boy Scout?
We got some over here.
That was a good idea. I'm sorry, we're not gonna get together for all this.
Yeah,
But I'm probably gonna have to pay myself.
Do we have anybody from Open Fair today?
If that goes, there's linchpin.
Oh, some water.
she's gonna get you one, Ralph.
Yes.
Think of that van they're doing for the
Do we have anyone
St.
else
Mary's
today
funds.
for
They've got that
Open
Lazy
Fair today?
Foundation mobile van.
No.
Do you know incredible idea that is? And I hope they get the money.
I could.
Well, they've got the bucks to do it.
I don't know if we should.
I got a
Yeah, if there's any question.
foundation.
I don't know if we should.
Their board.
You,
Well, it's a neat idea because it really.
I told her.
It's not the road itself. It's the fact that they're going to make regular stops because the biggest problem. A lot of organizations at one time, remote area.
Well, I think I mentioned to you before, anytime she needs someone, I can get people. That would not be a
And a
problem.
lot of these folks.
We may start relying on you.
You need constant monitoring.
No?
Check. You just can't see once,
For the audience.
4, 5, 6
Yeah,
months,
please
once
tell
a
her
year.
that.
You gotta stay on.
We have resources.
So,
For what?
so that's the
Well,
exciting
when
part
I
to
read
me.
about
Is
it, I
that,
thought it was really good.
I think the exciting part to me is
I hate to see us miss the opportunity.
relationship
probably don't know.
with people, the sisters.
I see Lauren here. I just didn't on there.
Oh, Lauren's doing the Arbor Day. Contest
It's
runner.
not a rotating, and they're smart.
Under the mayor's report.
Doing volunteers, which is just.
Isn't that weird?
You gotta go with,
You
know,
gotta have a
you
professional.
gotta have a personal face, somebody who's.
Pam,
there,
what'd you
who's
do?
Standard bearer for the
We
program.
came down here earlier.
But again, I'm excited. I think it's
Always a
great
ghost.
idea. It really makes sense.
I really figured it was that remote. Same one
And
operates it.
just
Yeah.
excited that
It won't come on at all.
Ordinance Bishops are pushing it big time. I mean,
You know what's
he
getting
really
hard
wants
is
something
that red light.
tangible out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't spend it on programs.
I guess it's
Need
one of the
some-
back
There's a flag out there that says, look what we're doing.
When he bought
Is Tom still here?
No, it's for that purpose. He's on,
See if he's outside.
as
doing a
my
good job.
wife said, they're not
See
just
if he's outside.
You're done?
they're
Okay.
doctors, nursing students. I mean, they've got professions with them,
yeah,
you know, so
yes,
you're,
that's
so you're
right.
getting really two for deals, you know? Good bang for the buck on that stuff.
again. You thought about what you're gonna do. You're not gonna.
I got promoted at work last week. I'm doing, well, bad news is they didn't replace me, so I'm wearing 2 hats now. It's about killing me, you know, so that's all I can do to make these meetings and stuff.
You've done a great job.
I'm just trying to hang on, to be honest with you, right now, because this is really tough on the time scale. So even though it's not a ton of time, it's still a little so.
Hello?
No, I'm trying to start.
Delmar, I'm at the meeting and then we're getting ready to start. So let me call you.
He's coming.
Okay, or I'll call you later tonight, okay?
All right, it's 7 o'clock, and this is the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for April, what is it, 28th?
25th.
20, whatever,
25.
25th.
I'm getting scored on that.
I'm having trouble keeping up with days. My daughter's birthday was yesterday. You'd think I should remember that. But, we will start by rising for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. And do we have a Boy Scout here?
You do? I saw him.
Would you like to come down and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. We have a swell
Come on.
pin
son.
for you.
Come on, you can do it. We need you. Come on.
Well, see me for this later. And the pledge? I pledge allegiance
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Next item is the mayor's report, and I feel compelled to bring up this issue during this time. Should we do this before the mayor's report? Okay. Before I do that, we had a poster competition for Arbor Day, Celebrate Trees. The winner is Kevin Wang, and we have this for you, as well as this, which is probably more important to you. Now, getting to the issue, let me start by saying this headline is misleading. It says Farragut's proposed gun ordinance draws fire. Farragut does not have a proposed gun ordinance. A civilian citizen has a proposal that stirred all this up, and what it would be to require all households in Farragut to have a gun. I believe that the federal government has no authority to tell people that you must buy health insurance. I also believe that we have no authority to tell people that you must buy a gun. And all the talk about how this would be a benefit to the town, I don't believe. And so I'm going to take a straw vote here right now, asking the simple question, we'll vote on this. Should we direct our staff to form an ordinance requiring guns in every household? Yes or no?
No.
Is that a straw vote of this board or of the
Yes.
entire?
Well, I'll ask them too.
That's them too.
Yes or no? Yes, raise your hands. No, raise your hands. All right, call the roll.
Alderman Elliott.
No.
Alderman Honkin.
No.
Alderman LaMarche.
No.
Alderman Markley.
Yes.
Mayor McGill.
No. All right, that's 4-1. That's the end of this talk. And that's all I have to report under Mayor's report. Next item is the Citizens Forum. Do we have anybody?
I have no one signed up.
All right. Next item is approval of minutes. Do we have two of them?
We do.
March 28th and
Yes.
April 11th?
Yeah, during the last meeting, the three that were here, I think there was only one that was at the March 28th meeting, so they were not able to vote on the set of minutes. So that's why they're on this agenda.
All right.
I'll move for approval of the March 28th minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I need to abstain.
The same as well.
For March 28th?
Not there.
For the 28th.
We're both absent.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, the next one is April 11th. I have to
Abstain.
pass
I do
on
too.
that one because I was in the hospital.
I'll move for approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh,
And I was absent too, so I have to.
I said aye, but I can't vote, so.
Okay, got that out of the way.
So we move to business items. There's one, approval of bids for contract 2013-05 resurface. This is about resurfacing roads.
Purpose of this item is the approval of bids for contract 2013-05, which is a street resurfacing within the town. I included in your packets a listing of streets or partial lengths of streets that will be resurfacing this year. Those are all shown on this map in kind of an orangish color. And, well, that's not on the overhead up here, but it is over there. We have a budget of $500,000 in street aid funds this year, and we have received some very good bids. I've also included the bid tabulations in your packet. We received 3 bids on April 16th. Rogers Group Incorporated bid $410,477.17. Greenback Asphalt bid $502,138.15. And APAC Atlantic bid $415,966.80. Since the low bids are significantly below our $500,000 budget, we are also wanting to include, if possible, a couple of alternate streets that I've also shown in the memo. So staff recommendation is for award of this contract 2013-05 to Rogers Group Incorporated for $410,477.17.
Total miles was what?
I added that up and then didn't put it in my memo. I believe that's about 3.4, 3.5 miles.
So it's about, what, 10,000 a mile?
Something like that.
Pretty good money.
125,000 mile,
Yeah, 125,000, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
150.
just off by a
Get
factor
better
of
deal
10.
than that.
Yes.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we move to ordinances. I wasn't here when you did the first reading on all of these. Did you read them all off and vote on them individually, or?
Yes.
I snapped it off, Mayor. I ran it right through me.
Yeah, if you want to follow.
So I have to read the titles of all
I
of them.
couldn't get that many words out tonight.
We'll all come back in
I
10
think
minutes.
Bruce
I think
did
that would
last
be
time.
helpful.
All right, Ruth, you can do the honors.
You want me to read them? Okay. Ordinance 1303, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. codes, Chapter 1, International Building Code, to adopt the International Building Code 2012 edition. I want to kind of be a little more brief than I was at the last meeting because we went through the workshop at the last meeting. So Mayor and Alderman LaMarche, if you have questions, please ask, though I know a lot of this was all in your packet. So primarily the amendments to this adoption of the 2012 codes are already in our ordinance. From the standpoint, we just cross-references, made sure that the citations were the same, using the Board of Gas Mechanical as the licensing board as the appellate body. And we're recommending approval of the Building Code 2012 edition with appendices C and G and I as part of that adoption. We are, however, recommending that Appendix D, which is fire districts, not be adopted because we feel that is more restrictive than we need to be in our setting here in Farragut. But in lieu of that, in light of how some of the construction that we have occurring currently and what we anticipate with the adoption of the new land use plan, is clarification of tenant and fire separations, structures in excess of 7,000 gross square feet or 2 or more stories shall be type 1, 2, 3, or 4 construction. Structures in excess of 7,000 square feet per story and as 2 or more stories shall be sprinklered. And firewall shall be of non-combustible construction and shall have no penetration or openings in type 5 construction. I know that doesn't really mean a whole lot to you all, but type 5 construction is all wood, combustible. So we are recommending approval of ordinance 1303 on second reading.
Motion.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carry on.
Ordinance 1304, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. codes, Chapter 2, International Plumbing Code, to adopt the International Plumbing Code 2012 edition. Again, we're currently on the 2006 edition, so the purpose of this is to take us to the 2012 edition, and we are including appendices B, C, D, E, and F. Again, the only amendments to it are what we already have adopted, and that the Board of Plumbing and Gas Mechanical Examiner serves as our Board of Appeals. And we are recommending approval of Ordinance 1304.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 1304.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ordinance 1305, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 3, Electrical Code, to adopt the NFPA Electrical Code 2011 edition. We are currently under the 2005 edition. Although the town has opted not to conduct our own electrical inspections, we still need to remain current in our electrical code adoptions. If you need an electrical inspection, LCUB houses the state of Tennessee inspectors. We are unusual in that one of our inspectors actually is licensed and could do that, but if John were to leave, we'd be not faring too well. So we have always opted out on this, and we are recommending approval of ordinance 1305.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Ordinance 1306, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 4, International Fuel Gas Code, to adopt the International Fuel Gas Code 2012 edition. Again, we are currently on the 2006 edition, and we are recommending approval of the 2012 edition with appendices A, B, C, and D. And again, the licensing board would serve as the Board of Appeals. We are recommending approval of ordinance 1306.
I'll move for approval.
I'll
Second.
second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 1307, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 5, International Property Maintenance Code, to adopt the International Property Maintenance Code 2012 edition. Again, we're currently on the 2006 edition. The primary purpose of this code is really regulating to ensure properties are kept up and are good neighbors and this addresses both commercial and residential properties. We are recommending adoption of the 2012 edition with Appendix A. And again, the licensing board would serve as the Board of Appeals. And the staff recommends approval of Ordinance 1307.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 1308, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 6, International Energy Conservation Code, to adopt the International Energy Conservation Code 2012 edition. This is a new code in that in the 2006 codes, it was under the International Building Code, and since then and at that time we actually made amendments to the code because there were certain materials that weren't available in this area, and then when they became available in this area, we went back and amended to require them. In this case, we are recommending adoption of the 2012 edition, which is inclusive of two sections, a residential section and a commercial section. We are recommending, again, that the licensing board serve as the Board of Appeals, but we're also recommending that we stage some minimum requirements over time and then clarifying third-party testers, verifiers, qualifications. Purpose of this is that construction is changing, techniques are changing, and it's very difficult to expect folks to just overnight change the way they've always done things. And so our goal is to stage in some of the testing with the duct tightness and with the tightness of the seal of the whole building envelope, and that they would have to comply at certain levels starting July 2014 and then 2015. And the staging would allow builders, like I said, to learn the new construction techniques, and we're also recommending that we maintain the R13 wood frame R value at this time rather than going to the 20 or 13+5. The new requirement would require 2x6 inch studs, or would require some kind of foam material on the outside of the houses. And in light of the problems with EFIS in the past, stucco, we don't want to go with that as an option. We do have some builders in town that are already building with the 2x6 studs and the extra insulation. For example, Shad Properties, they construct Energy Star certified homes which exceed these requirements. And these homes can save up to 50% in energy use, but it's taken them time to get to that point. And so that's what we're trying to do with the adoption of this kind of in the staging and doing a sunset clause with certain standards. And so the staff is recommending approval of Ordinance 1308.
I'll
move
make
for
a
approval.
motion to approve ordinance 1308.
I'll second.
All in
Second.
favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Ordinance 1309, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 8, Swimming Pool Code, to adopt the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code 2012 edition. Currently, we are under the 1999 edition, and that was because there was not a 2006 edition. And basically, what this regulates is swimming pools, spas, hot tubs, that kind of equipment. And again, the licensing board would serve as the Board of Appeals. And we did have to write in another amendment, and that was dealing with the Katie Beth law, which is a law that was adopted by the state. And this has to do with alarms on pools, so that if a small child falls in, that an alarm goes off, that you are aware of that at your houses. The staff is recommending approval of Ordinance 13-09.
I have one question. Ruth, you said on this one and the last one that the licensing board would serve as the
It's
board of
the
appeals?
Board of Plumbing and Gas Mechanical Examiners, but for short, we call them the licensing board.
Okay, just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that. All right. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 13-10, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, and Chapter 9, reserved to adopt the Accessible and Usable Buildings and Facilities, ICC A117.1-2009, ANSI American National Standard. The purpose of this code is, the intent of this code is to allow a person with a physical disability to independently get to, enter, and use a site, facility, building, or envelope, or element, excuse me. In the 2006 building codes, there was references, but we feel with the changes in the 2012 code that we needed to specifically adopt this to make it clear that this is what we are under. And we are recommending approval of Ordinance 1310.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 1311, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 10, International Mechanical Code, to adopt the International Mechanical Code 2012 edition. Again, we're on the 2006 edition, and we are recommending approval of the 2012 edition, which would include Appendix A. And again, the primary change is that the licensing board would serve as the appellate board for this ordinance.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 13-12, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 11, International Residential Code, Chapter 12, to adopt the International Residential Code 2012 edition. The 2006 edition is called the International Residential Code for 1 and 2 family dwellings. It's a little bit more descriptive than the title of this ordinance. But we are recommending approval of the 2012 edition with the appendixes A through Q, except I, L, and O. Won't list all of those again. And there are a few amendments with this. The amendments 7, 8, 9, and 10 are new from what we adopted back in 2007. And Amendment 7 eliminates the requirement to have a self-closing door between the house and the attached garage. Figure a lot of people would disable those. Amendment 8 allows for an approved air exchanger on the HVAC system, which will make up the required ventilation. And Amendments 9 and 10 eliminates the requirement to have an automatic fire sprinkler system installed. You may remember the legislature required that if a jurisdiction chose to adopt residential fire sprinklers, that there had to be a motion that was, I think it was 2/3 majority, if I remember correctly, on that one. And so we are not adopting that at this time. You all witnessed in October when we had the fire suppression trailer here that you see what good things sprinklers can do. We're just not there yet with the installation yet and the technology in this area, and so it's not something we're advocating at this point in time. But we are recommending approval of Ordinance 1312.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 13-13, ordinance on second reading to amend the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 12, Building, Utility, etc. Codes, Chapter 12, Plumbing and Gas Mechanical Licensing Requirements to delete fees and reference fee resolution. We actually went and did this back in 2011, and I missed this one, and we just happened to find it whenever we were going through all of these updates. This is the section of the ordinance that creates the plumbing and gas mechanical licensing requirements. That's why we reference them as the licensing board. And all we're doing here is deleting the fee reference out of the code and we cross-reference the adoption of the resolution. And we recommend approval of Ordinance 13-13.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 13-14, ordinance on second reading to amend the text of the Farragut Municipal Code, Title 7, Fire Protection and Fireworks, Chapter 1, Fire Code, to adopt the International Fire Code 2012 edition and the NFPA 101 Life Safety Code 2012 edition. We currently are on the 2006 edition with both of these documents, and we are recommending approval of the International Fire Code 2012 edition with appendices B through H, and then the the NFPA 101 Life Safety Code with annexes A through C. The amendments that are different on this ordinance from when we adopted in 2006 primarily deal with providing clarification and or eliminate locks and latches and problems that we've dealt with in the past. And those amendments that are listed in Section 7102 are 10, 11, 16, 19, and 20. We are recommending approval of Ordinance 13-14.
Motion to approve Ordinance 13-14.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? For those of you who wonder what this was all about, we've adopted a new international building code, as has most other cities. And in order to be finalized, we have to put it into our code, which requires these ordinances. So that's all this was about.
Mayor, I'd like to just say that I think the code staff has done a tremendous job in trying to get these codes ready to go for you as the alderman to approve tonight. It's been months and months and months of training, of learning the codes, of getting everything together that we thought fit Farragut best, and then also putting it into ordinance form and getting it together. So I just want to compliment the staff for that. They did a great job.
Looks like
Well done.
the task was probably a mind bender. So congratulations to you guys who still have your mind.
Hopefully I don't have to do it again for 6 more years. So
And so the last item is first reading of Ordinance 13-17 to amend Title 5 Municipal Finance and Taxation of the Farragut Municipal Code by adding Chapter 4 Hotel Motel Tax.
thank you, Mayor. The intent of this ordinance before you would be to implement a municipal hotel tax for the for the town of Farragut. The Tennessee General Assembly allows for cities to levy hotel motel taxes across the state of Tennessee. Excuse me.
Emotional topic.
It is an emotional topic. I apologize. Good grief.
Tennessee General Assembly has provided for this hotel motel tax, and as you probably know, the county has one. The city of Knoxville has one. Town of Farragut does not have one. I think you had a workshop about this earlier today. Actually, there is a specific exception. There was a prohibition against adding the hotel motel tax except in certain limited circumstances under the Tennessee Code. And we have concluded that we fit those exceptions, or that one exception that's available, one of several exceptions actually. And so I'll turn it back over to Mr. Smoke.
Let's hope I can finish this up. Thanks, Tom. We do feel that we meet several exceptions, the exception to this this provision. And so what this will allow us to do is to implement a tax, and we are proposing a 3% hotel tax that is consistent with what the city of Knoxville currently incorporates for the city. I think Mr. Hale just mentioned the county imposes a 5% hotel tax for the county. There are currently 67 counties across the state and 58 cities within the state that have hotel taxes, and those vary anywhere between 1% and up to 7% for those different cities. So this is certainly within that range. How this would work is if you typically had a hotel room where you stayed and it was say $100 a night stay, then that would be a 3% charge on that room night stay would be $3, and that would be remitted to the town for the hotel stay. This ordinance does not affect Town of Farragut residents. It would impact certainly the hotels in town and the visitors that come and stay within our town. Although you do not have to designate the monies for any specific purpose, I do feel and would recommend that the board consider implementing and designating monies that we receive from this revenue for economic development and tourism purposes, as well as for capital projects that would go towards helping and enhancing economic development in our town. We reviewed the current rates that hotels have here in Farragut. They vary anywhere between $70 and $189 per night. Looking at the occupancy rates of that, we came up with an average of around a 70% occupancy rate for our hotels, and projected that at a 3% tax rate, we would generate revenues of around $460,000 in the upcoming fiscal year. This ordinance, adoption of it would be consistent with the 2018 Town of Farragut Strategic Plan Goal Number 1 to maintain a financially sound town providing excellent services. This was actually the action number one, the number one action item that the board had, which was to establish a hotel motel tax. It's also is consistent with Goal Number 2, strengthening the local economy, which was to expand our tourism and economic development and marketing efforts. Finally, the hotel motel tax is also a top policy agenda item that the board had from our recent strategic planning session. So with that, I'll be happy to try to answer any questions, and we would recommend approval of this ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Opposed?
Town administrators report.
Thank you, Mayor. Next Thursday night, which is May 2nd at 6 p.m., we're going to have a community forum here at Town Hall in the boardroom. The community forum is for the residents to come. We are going to tell them a little bit about what we've been working on here in the last few months. But the main part of it is to get feedback from our residents to find out what they have interest in, what projects they see as important to them, what issues they see as important to them, and so we can begin incorporating that as best we can into our strategic plan and also our budget process, which we're currently in the middle of right now. We also have the fair, the Dogwood Arts Festival is in high gear this month. Last weekend we had the Art in the Park, where the artists were painting and taking photographs all over town. And so Monday night, this coming Monday, at the gallery in the Renaissance Center will be the showing for those auction, and they'll actually have an auction for those pieces of art, and that'll be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. up at the Renaissance. So if anybody's interested in coming to that, you're more than welcome to. And with that, Mayor, that is all I have to report tonight.
Thank you. Attorney's report?
No report.
No report. That means we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Disappointing a little. Oh, boy, with
Ruth did
Mary
well.
was embarrassed.
I would have go through all, explain all those, even the short.